Hey everyone, I'm super excited to have our next candidate on a Project 1000 hire. Today we have all the way from Philadelphia, my good friend Brett. Brett, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the time.
So, Brett, let's start all the way from the beginning. Why don't you give us a brief description of where you're from and a little bit
Sure.
about you?
I grew up on Long Island for the first 9 years of my life, and then moved to Philadelphia and have been sort of around that area ever since. I did some small moves to Delaware for a year. I was in central New Jersey, but mainly Philadelphia and the suburbs have been my home. And my wife and I and our dog currently live in South Philadelphia.
Wow, beautiful. Brett, I think the theme of Philadelphia from the 76ers is you got to trust the process. It's the same thing like right now that we're going through in that, this whole entire state of COVID and, looking for a new job, we got to trust the process. So why don't you tell us, about like a personal project or like a personal accomplishment that you've accomplished and done?
Sure. One of the things I'm really proud of personally is that when I was 25 or 26, I was 26, and I had moved back to Philadelphia kind of with no direction of where I wanted my life to go. And I had worked a couple of jobs in public relations, and I wasn't really vibing with that industry as much as I would have liked. I was also really overweight and not taking care of myself mentally and physically. And some switch went off in my head to really be stubborn and take care of myself in those areas. So I really began exercising and eating really, really well. And I lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
And those habits have stuck with me for the last 10 years. And I've maintained that. And all culminating in 2018, I ran the Philadelphia Marathon. And that was something I would have never thought possible. I couldn't run a mile in high school. I was, like I said, I was out of shape, overweight, and that was by far the coolest thing personally I've ever done. And it was very emotional, and I will always look back on that and appreciative of the journey to get there.
Wow. I can't wait to know what your next challenges you want to overcome.
I don't know yet. I always, I'm, I don't have, things just happen, and I sort of come up with ideas, in a moment, and they sort of end up being longer journeys to get to, and they just sort of happen. You sort of build off previous small goals, and things happen, like running a 5K and then running a 10-mile race and then a half marathon and then a full things. I like building on smaller goals that sort of lead to bigger things. So we'll see. I have some few things in mind, and uh, I
Wow.
also want to go ahead.
No, so it's incredible. So we know you'll be able to accomplish, whatever you set your mind to, you'll be able to accomplish. And you have that hustle and great attitude, and you're committed and you're focused. So tell us about I know you mentioned already about you're overweight when you're younger, and then you're able to work in that. But any personal challenges that you overcame also?
I was socially, it was difficult. It was difficult to find a balance between work and being sociable.
Hmm.
And uh, I would say in college, I was very closed in. I went to school. I sang in a group with a couple guys. We were big dorks, and I kind of stayed away from everything else. And I didn't put myself out there enough.
Hmm.
I think again in my mid 20s when I made this shift in lifestyle, it changed everything. It opened up doors for me. It made me more confident. It made me more adept to put myself out there. I hadn't done theater in a really long time, and that was something that was eating at me. Like, I need to figure out a way to get back to doing theater and also pursuing a career that I really appreciate at the same time. And that was a big challenge. And I overcame that. And in the beginning of 2012, really entrenched my life and my career in sales, while also pursuing theater at the same time, and putting myself out there socially. And those things all sort of came together. But I made very conscious decisions to be able to find that balance, and that is one of the reasons I feel like I'm more centered than I was years ago.
Amazing. So why don't you tell us a little about what you're looking for in your next role?
Sure. I've had a very successful track record in sales. I've spent the last 8 years at an inside sales sports advertising company called Professional Sports Publications. It was a great learning experience, and it was a wonderful time. And I want to take all of the skills and experience and the coachability that I've learned from being there into I'm open to any opportunities. That I think the main things I'm looking for is an emerging field, something that is just sort of build on where we are in the times, whether it's technologically or otherwise. Just sort of a company that understands the pulse of the time that we're living in. I was also very unfortunate very quickly to lose my position in my job due to COVID. And I want to find, again, a field and a position that's a little bit more sustainable. There are fields and companies that are profiting and even doing better from people working from home. And, this unfortunate time for a lot of people, but there are companies out there doing some really good work. And it's also, I want to find a really good culture. I want to find like-minded people that are good people, good, honest people that want to give back. That I also want to learn from people that are more experienced and better than me. I'm very coachable, but I want to constantly bounce ideas off of people that are smarter than me, are more experienced than me. I feel like the way I learn the best, but I also want to be in the middle. I want to take experiences and skill sets and my emotional intelligence that I built up now being almost 34 and helping, kids that are just starting to come up from college that, don't really know what they want to do, that want to, that want to learn and are hungry to learn. So hopefully I can impart some knowledge there as well. So all of that plays into this. And, I appreciate the time and the effort to be willing to be able to sit down and evaluate all these opportunities as they come and just make a very smart, concerted decision on my next step.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. So, first of all, Brett, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. And the second thing is, there's no doubt in my mind that any company that gets you is hiring an absolute rock star. Someone that's able to
Thank
overcome
you.
a challenge of, the whole process of, let's say, losing weight to running a marathon to the whole building those small little goals and which compound on itself. And also, like you said, being coachable, being open-minded, that whole entire process is what you need in a rock star employee, teammate. And so I want to obviously bless you and wish you a ton of success. And we're going to do anything in our power to try to send all those opportunities your way. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Fram. I appreciate it very much.